What's up guys, Man of the Jedi back here for a brand new video, and today we are doing something involving Reddit. There was a specific Reddit thread that popped up the other day that is like, I feel like it's right up my alley, right up my level of expertise. So we're gonna be answering some of the questions on the thread. Non-Canadians, what do you not understand about Canada? Being a Canadian my entire life, I figured that maybe I have some things to explain here. So let's get to it. The number one asked question with almost 9,000 points. Do you learn French and English in school all across the country? From my understanding, I'm pretty sure every school in Canada teaches you like a little bit of French as a second language in really early like elementary school and stuff. And then after that, it might dwindle off. I'm actually from the only bilingual province in the entire country, which is New Brunswick, which means that when I went to school, I was actually in a bilingual program. It's called French immersion, meaning that everything that I took in school other than like gym and English specifically were all taught to me in French. So I learned science, math, social studies, anything like that I learned in French up until high school. And then in high school, I think for grade 9, you had the option of being French for science, and in grade 10, you had the option of being French for science. And in this province, it's like pretty essential to speak both languages, especially in certain areas, like my hometown. It's like impossible to get a job there if you don't speak French. It's to the point that like bilingual just means speaking French. So even if you really didn't speak English, they wouldn't even bother checking that. They would just make sure you could speak French. So it's really interesting. And then there's different classifications for what your proficiency is in speaking the language versus writing the language. So there's like all sorts of different stuff like that. But I guess, yeah, you do learn both across the country. Certain areas do it more specifically. You also have the option of putting your kid in like actual French schools, meaning that other than English, everything that you learned was in French. And then there was also just English, which would probably be more like the rest of the country where everything you learned was in English except for your French class, which was pretty basic. What's up with the islands? Do people actually live on them? I don't know if you mean the ones that are like all the way up north, or if you mean like Vancouver Island or Prince Edward Island, Prince Edward Island, but the people who do live up north are traditionally Inuit. But in terms of like Vancouver and PEI, yeah, tons of like, obviously tons of people live in Vancouver, tons of people live on Vancouver Island, and you know, a fair amount of people live in PEI. It's a very small little province, but people live there. There's literally an entire bridge that takes you to it. Do people really do the maple syrup on a stick out in the snow? I know there's a name for it, but I can't seem to find it. Yeah, I think that's actually really common where I'm from. I don't know how much it's used like further out west in the country. I'm way out on the East Coast, and yes, that is a very common thing to do. I've never been huge on it, but yeah, basically what you do is you boil the syrup, pour it on the snow, put like a used popsicle stick or, you know, a fudgicle stick in there or something. And then once it's frozen, you have like a maple lollipop. Some people do just pour it right on and eat it right away. So that it's just kind of like, it cools it down and it's still kind of like liquidy kind of. Either way, yeah, that's something people do. In terms of what it's called in French, it's tire d'érable, I think. And then in English, it would just be maple taffy. It's good stuff. Is the money really waterproof? Yes, yes it is. 1 second. Here, I have to open my safe. Here's a 20, here's some water, here's another shaker cup, because I don't want to, this needs to be washed, because I literally did that unboxing and left it in here, so it's still dirty, but we're gonna put some water in here. So there's that. Here's the 20, which also you can't rip. It's really hard. Like I'm ripping. Yeah, and then it's just, you can just really get that in there, and then, but that does not make it any more rippable. So if you're like, it's just wet, but no, yeah, that'll dry off really fast. It is very flammable though. It is very flammable. Yeah, see? If I'd kept going, that's just gonna waste away. So put that in there. I think I just committed like 2 felonies in one video. Is it like illegal to damage money? It's fine, it's still usable. I'm gonna take that down to Timmy's later today. Bags of milk. Okay, I am actually adamantly against bags of milk. I know people say that in terms of waste production, it's actually less wasteful to have it in like liters of the bags, and it's less like the plastic bags aren't as bad for landfills as like the cartons. But I think bags of milk are weird. You open it, you leave it in your fridge, it's open at the top. I know they've made these new things where there's these like zipper clips that like seal it. That makes it a little bit better. But like when you go to pour it and you don't like really carefully do things, like the whole thing can just fall out the top. Like the only time I've ever seen them used anywhere was at my daycare, and it was just because it was probably cheaper to buy bulk bags of milk than it was to buy containers of milk. But if I buy milk, which I really don't even buy milk anymore. I usually buy cartons personally. And I'm sorry, when you buy bagged milk, you have to then buy a receptacle container that's something that holds it so that you can actually pour it out. Like, it's a two-step process versus me just opening a carton. And now that the cartons have the really convenient twist-off caps, what more could you want? But yeah, I don't get bagged milk. I'm gonna look at some of the other answers here are that it's like not as wasteful. It separates it into 1 liter bags. You can buy 1 liter cartons. Get out of here with that logic. Get out of here with that. It's easier to get the last drop of milk out of the bag than it is the carton. Stop. And milk bags are easier to pour once you know how to do it. I don't want to have to learn how to pour milk. I know there shouldn't be a process in terms of learning how to pour milk. How Canadians are born. I mean, I've seen the gif of a fully grown man coming out of a frozen lake with a hockey stick and skating away. I just don't understand how it all works. It's just really just like this magical process. Obviously we've been spurring up more now that like the ice caps have been melting and stuff, so we're just exploding out. And I'm gonna correct one thing though. It's not just with a hockey stick. You have a couple options when you're born in Canada. You're either gonna be born with the skates on and the hockey stick ready to go, but you could also be born with curling equipment, as a member of the cast of Degrassi, as a member of the band Arcade Fire, or if you were just kind of that run-of-the-mill, the Hufflepuff, if you will, you're just born saying sorry a lot. I've always wondered what Canadian stereotypes are. Like in the US, we have places like, oh, that's where the country people live and all these people are crazy, like Florida man, stuff like that. Okay, there's tons. There's we ride on polar bears. That is not true. Those poor bastards are going extinct. Let's not make jokes at their expense. They'd also eat you. We also don't ride moose, though moose are massive and could be ridden into battle and probably would terrify people. Our dollars and $2 are actually coins, and yeah, they are legally called loonies and toonies. That's a thing. We don't all live in igloos. In fact, there's not even snow on the ground here right now at all. I don't say a boot. I've never said a boot in my life. I'm pretty sure the only people who say that are from around the Ontario area. And then Newfoundland, maybe? They say, Newfoundland says things the weirdest. If you're thinking about a stereotypical Canadian accent, you're most likely thinking of like most of Ontario and then Newfoundland. I do say some words weird. I say sorry the same way I would go to say the word SoaR, which apparently is weird. Apparently I say tomorrow weird. I don't know. The most I would say about is that I would add a vowel. It's like, I'm gonna talk about Call of Duty. It's not a boot, it's like A-B-A-O-U-T. So there's that extra A in there just kind of carrying it over, and I don't really know how to fix that, but that's probably a thing. In terms of specific provinces, I think there's like parallel. So like Alberta is like the Texas of Canada. BC is like the California of Canada, and I guess like the Seattle. It's like half California, half Seattle of Canada. Toronto specifically is like the New York of Canada. The East Coast is most of what you think about like down home Canadian kind of stuff. Like what you think about Minnesota, Canada actually is. Like that area of Canada actually is. I'm gonna say that's like the opposite. We usually have our versions of things in the States. Minnesota is just America's Canada. Saskatchewan's very flat. Manitoba's where Winnie the Pooh's from. That's about it. What's the deal with Quebec? Do they even consider themselves Canadians? There was like a weird thing that they wanted to split. It's probably a very, very 50-50 thing. There's probably a lot of people in Quebec that would like to be their own little sovereign area, not part of Canada. There's lots of people that are like, that's stupid. Let's just be part of Canada. They're rude. They like to cut people off when they're driving. I say that knowing that there's probably a lot of really nice people in Quebec. I've been to Quebec and I've enjoyed certain areas that I've been there, but like, I've also dealt with some really, really, really terrible people. Like, my province connects to Quebec, so we get a lot of, like, Quebec tourists coming through. So when I was in retail, like, oh my God. Why is it that half the comedians in Hollywood are from Canada? Is there something in your diet that makes you funny? You know, when the rest of the world makes fun of you, you just have to learn how to turn that outwards to make everybody laugh with you. Is Tim Hortons and poutine really that good? Tim Hortons has gotten worse over the years, but there are some things there that are absolutely delicious. And yeah, when I've been out of the country for too long, I gotta strap on my Timmy's bag. I gotta get some Timmy's. I'm really big on the ice caps. I think they changed the coffee. Somebody's been saying they changed the regular brand of the coffee and it's been worse. I don't mess with the dark roast stuff because dark roast does not have as much caffeine. If you guys didn't know that, look into it. It's actually true. You'd think it'd be the opposite, but yeah. I really like their iced coffees. I like the iced cappuccinos, and then in roll-up season, I'm all about just the standard coffee. We're gonna take that money out of the water now. We're just gonna let that dry off. But yeah, I do like Tim Hortons. I literally went on an entire like rant about how I couldn't get to Tim Hortons one day. The biggest issue I have with them right now is that they used to have the thing going for them where they were good and they were affordable, but they keep upping their prices, so it's getting to the point that it's like, what you're offering me is not worth what I'm paying anymore. So it's like, it's a very blurred line now, but yes, Tim Hortons is good. Poutine, yes. There are people who think it's weird. No, it's delicious. And if you get somebody trying to make you poutine with like shredded cheddar, they're wrong. The only substitute to a cheese curd would maybe be mozzarella. You can mess with that. If you want to kind of get into that weird realm, mozzarella is acceptable, not cheddar, but it has to be cheese curds. It's fries, cheese curds, and gravy. If you want to start getting fancy and add in some chicken, some pulled pork, some whatever you want, you can feel free to do that. There's an entire chain here called Smokes Poutineery that goes crazy with that kind of stuff. It's delicious. It kind of reminds you of like a nice, warm, home-cooked family meal, but it's really unhealthy. It's good. My stomach just started growling thinking about it. Yes, poutine is that good. You guys have to get on board, or just leave it for us. Just leave it for us. Boxing Day. All right, so Boxing Day in Canada is like exactly the same thing as Black Friday is in the States, except the States is so big that Black Friday has now like spread out more. But it's basically the day after Christmas or 2 days after for like in-store purchases. So like the 27th, there's just a bunch of crazy sales all over the place, which makes sense because you're trying to get rid of like leftover Christmas stuff. Obviously people have a bunch of money that they got at Christmas that they're looking to spend. It's a good time to have a sale. So on the 26th, it's usually the online sales and like random like drugstore sales. And then in-store, you would start on the 27th when everything's actually open. But yeah, so it's, you know, just a sale, big sales. I think the best way to describe it is it was originally just to get rid of leftover Christmas stock immediately after at a discounted price. And now it's just turned into Canadian Black Friday with less deaths. My dad doesn't believe that everyone in Canada gets free healthcare. Yes, everybody has like basic healthcare. So if like I was to just snap my wrist right now, I could go to the hospital and they would treat it completely for free. Now, a lot of people start complaining like, what about your crazy wait times? Nobody in an emergency has to wait. It's like, say you go to the emergency room because you sprained your wrist. You're gonna be not as prioritized as somebody who, say, is bleeding out of their head or has smashed their hand open or has broken a bone or something like that. Like, it basically just goes in priority of emergency and severity. So if you're there for like a run-of-the-mill cold, yeah, somebody who is in way worse shape than you is gonna be seen first, but it's really not that bad. I know that if it was an emergency, I would get seen pretty quickly. Cancer treatment would be free, heart surgery is free, flu shots free, family doctor free, specialist doctors are free, prenatal care and delivery is free, parking's not free. Things like the optometrist and the dentist wouldn't be free. But yeah, like in any emergency situation, they would cover everything. So like any kind of medicine they gave me while I was in the hospital would be covered, but it's just like if I got like a sinus infection, I would have to pay like the $70 to get the antibiotics. I'm pretty sure it was like, actually, yeah, I got a sinus infection when I was off insurance, and I'm pretty sure the medicine cost $65, and that included like a nasal steroid and the antibiotics themselves for like 2 doses a day for 10 days. So really not that bad, not breaking the bank. Ice fishing, not something I've done. My uncle does it. It's just, you know, it's a good excuse to drink with people. It gets cold here, and it's a good activity to do and drink. Ketchup chips are delicious and must always be within an arm's reach. Anyways, that is gonna do it for today's video. If you guys have any other questions about things that go on in Canada and Canada happenings, please make sure to leave them in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you're new. I don't know how long this video is gonna end up being. I filmed like 20 something minutes of footage, almost like 30 minutes of footage. I can't release a video that long, so we'll see how much it chops down to. As always, guys, thank you all so much for being here. Hope you're all having a fantastic day, and we'll catch you next time.